Hello, everyone. Welcome in this last part of the second session on the Be Social project. My name is Peter. I'm a senior researcher at Ghent University. And Ghent is located in Flanders, the northern part of Belgium. And I was involved in the user requirement research for the Be Social project. During the project, I also helped coaching a thesis student, a digital humanities scholar, who did his internship in the project. This intern named Ewout wanted to assess if an archived Twitter dataset about a social event can be reused using out-of-the-box or off-the-shelf analytical software, and reuse in order to determine and outline the main actors, events, and different discourses of that event. As a case study, Ewout picked what became known in Flanders and in the Netherlands as the Gorman-Reineveld translation controversy. On January the 20th last year, as you know, Amanda Gorman performed her by now famous poem, The Hill We Climb, at the inauguration of Joe Biden. Almost a month later, on February 23rd, the Dutch publisher Meulenhof announced that the non-binary writer Marieke Lucas-Reineveld was selected to translate Amanda Gorman's poem into Dutch. But this decision gave rise to criticism by activists and quickly became the focal point of a deluge of columns in mainstream media and heated discussions. For example, reacting to this announcement, Janice Deul, a journalist and fashion writer, published an opinion piece in the Dutch newspaper De Volkskrant, expressing her disappointment about Meulenhof's choice for Reineveld. Deul mentions Dutch spoken word artists like Zaire Krieger or Babs Gons that, according to her, would have been ideal candidates for the translation assignment, but were not even considered.
While Dole does not seem to imply that a person of color is more capable of translating a black author than a white colleague, Dole's main point of criticism is institutional. Female persons of color are systematically marginalized in the contemporary Dutch literary fields. So the controversy originated in the Netherlands but quickly spread to Flanders as well. The prominent right-wing Flemish politician Bart de Wever, for example, reacted with the following tweet. With woke culture, European self-hate has crossed the boundaries of sanity. Imagine that someone would say that a person of color is unsuited to translate a white author. And I'm rephrasing this tweet in order to make it politically correct, by the way.
So, a lot of commotion, a lot of controversy around this translation assignment. In order to study this case, Ewout harvested tweets about the Gorman-Reineveld controversy using Twark. This resulted in a dataset containing about 7,000 tweets in Dutch with the occurrence of the word Gorman, and the dataset dates from February 24th to March 4th of 2021. So Ewout's methodology was actually encompassed a combination of close reading and distance reading. Close reading helps to understand the data, while distance reading can point to new leads. So, in order to identify key actors and groups, a network was generated and a network analysis was conducted using NetworkX Python module. Nodes in this slide or on this slide are Twitter users, and edges represent interaction between these users in terms of a mention or a retweet. We use NetworkX to calculate the degree for each user. Degree serves here as a proxy for importance and can help us to identify key players. We also calculated modularity for each node, enabling us to detect different communities within the network. And we visualize this network using, of course, Gephi. Using the calculated modularity of each node, we can see that there are 7 important groups participating in the translation controversy on Twitter, and we colored them in different colors here. Modularity 0 is the largest group. That is the group colored in orange here. And this group includes Janice Deul, who wrote the opinion piece, the Volkskrant, and some right-wing opinion makers reacting to Deul's opinion piece. Modularity 1 comprises of Flemish reactions to the event, with politicians as Bart de Wever as key players. Another important account in this modularity is that of the Flemish television program Zevende Dag, or Seventh Day. In modularity 2, we find writers and again opinion makers and the progressive online magazine One World and Renevel's publisher Meulenhof. Modularity 3 then is grouped around Renevel themselves. Surprisingly, few nodes in the two most important groups, modularity 0 and 1, have a connection to Renevel. While many are tweeting about Renevel and about the controversy outside their own group by sharing news articles and opinion pieces, very few are actually interacting with Renevel by retweeting him. We also identified key moments in the controversy by first creating a basic line chart that shows a number of tweets. And here on the slide, you can see that the events start with the publication of those opinion piece, a large spike in tweets and retweets, which lasts until February 28. And we see that on the height of the controversy, on February 26th, Reineveld decides to return the translation assignment to Meulenhof. This slide shows the onset and the height of the controversy in a bit more detail. A small spike in the number of tweets in the night of from February 25th to 26th can be noticed when Dole publishes her piece, her opinion piece. And the color-coded modularity of the chart also shows that the controversy stays in Dole's own modularity. As you can see, the bar just after midnight is almost entirely blue. Most tweets are retweets of a tweet by journalist and right-wing opinion maker Winia reacting to Dull. We also researched different discourses in the translation controversy using the Daria D8 topic explorer. The heat map on this slide shows that a common thread in all modularities is present. And this is a descriptive thread of the events, which includes words related to identity, color, women, words describing issues at hand, best, choice, Meulenhof, and words showing disagreement, racism, fuss, discussion. Next to this common thread, there are also several topics which are specific to a certain group. For example, in the group around Reineveld, the reaction is one of disappointment, but softer and more nuanced than the others. The focus on identity and reverse racism is present, but a lot less than in modularity 0 and 1. A more nuanced, substantive discussion seems to take place with words like voice, position, quality, background, or trust. There is a strong emphasis on what constitutes choosing the right person for translating Gorman and on who gets to make this choice. In conclusion, our exploratory study has employed off-the-shelf software, out-of-the-box software, to perform a quantitative analysis of the depiction of the Gorman-Reineveld translation controversy on Twitter. Our results show that despite the limitations of our quantitative analysis, we succeed in revealing underlying patterns regarding main actors, events, and discourses. We unearthed the dynamic of events in which an activist publishes an opinion piece with a provoking title which generates outrage. Several key actors then tweet about the events, disseminating a certain framing of events, namely Reineveld as a victim of reverse racism. Next, key actors are heavily retweeted by people in their own group, which kind of demonstrates the in-group mentality on Twitter. Discourses about the event ranged from outrage about alleged racism to disappointment and a more nuanced debate about the choice of a suitable translator to criticism by activists and people of color. From a broader perspective, the translation controversy also demonstrates how Twitter serves as a secondary gatekeeping channel, reinforcing and echoing the voices in mainstream media. Finally, I think that from a methodological perspective, the use case demonstrates that there are indeed several social media archiving tools and off-the-shelf analytical software tools available that can be used by non-expert users, such as a humanities researcher, or that can be used by institutions without any technical staff, support, or infrastructure. Thank you for your attention.